Ladies and gentlemen, Memphis is trying to adopt a Philadelphia police law for pulling over for minor offenses. Now, in the city of Philadelphia, that's where I grew up, the police won't stop you. Let's say if you got a headlight out or you got a tail light out or just minor things. They won't pull you over for that. What they will do is run your tags and they will throw a citation in the mail for you rather than pull people over for those type of minor stops. After Tyree Nichols was killed by Memphis police officers, they're now looking to adopt that same law. So if it's really minor, they're not even going to bother to pull you over. You'll just get a citation in the mail for low level offenses. So, a Philadelphia law that bars police from pulling over drivers for some minor traffic offenses has inspired a similar bill in Memphis, Tennessee, where five police officers are facing murder charges for the January death of Tyree Nichols. Memphis legislation is being championed by council member um, Easter Thomas, okay, who introduced a plan in the aftermath of Nichols' death on January 10th. Police pulled over Nichols, 29, and that he didn't violate anything. That's the worst part about his death. He did not violate any law and he still got pulled over, which tells you that the Memphis police had was routinely doing that to folks. So, Philadelphia in late 2021 became the first big city in the country to pass a driving equality law, which reclassified seven low level offenses as secondary, meaning they can't serve as a sole reason for a cop to pull over a motorist. The law, which was designed to cut down on racial disparities in car stops, took effect in early 2022. Easter Thomas appeared Monday during a virtual news conference with the city of Philadelphia council member Isaiah Thomas, no relationship to the ball player, who authored the Philadelphia bill, said that she was inspired by the legislation and that Memphis version bans stops for six motor offenses. And that's true. Philadelphia is like any city where the majority of the pullovers were always um, the so-called black men and women in the city, where they just went overboard pulling them over, opposed to other people, doing similar offenses out there. So to cut down on so many racially charged pullovers by the police, they adopted that law. So we want to decrease the possibility of negative interaction, she said. The bill was supported unanimously by Memphis council members on its first reading and must be voted on two more times to be passed, which Easter Thomas said would happen by early March. It's unclear why Nichols was ever pulled over in the first place. Police initially said he was stopped for reckless driving, but they said there was no evidence of reckless driving on the video. Reckless driving is not one of the offenses included in the equality legislation. Under Philadelphia's law, the violations that are now classified as secondary include having a single headlight out, driving with a registration that has expired for less than 60 days, or operating a vehicle with an expired inspection sticker. Officers can still mail citations to drivers over the violations. which is not a bad idea. Like they said, because a lot of the pullovers, just like anywhere else in Philadelphia, was all racially charged. So proponents said the goal was to decrease the number of perpetual stops, which police departments have at times used as a means of pulling over drivers they suspected of carrying illegal drugs or firearms. The practice, according to critics, have long been used to unfairly target Black drivers. But Philadelphia police data shows the number of traffic stops have not notably dropped since the law took effect, though vehicle and pedestrian stops had previously have plummeted for several years. For example, in January, Philadelphia police made 10,850 vehicle stops compared to about 8,500 in January of 2022 before the law took effect. Vehicle stops have dropped below 1,000 per month during the height of the pandemic compared to more than 33,000 in 2019. Thomas said he wasn't surprised about the month to month variations. He said there are limitations to the available data, and he's working with the police department to collect figures for the report that he expects to be released next month. So, they're just saying it's a sense of urgency, for them to try to make change. Um, so they think this might be a good model for Memphis police to take on the same type of law. I know personally, this is one of the Black council members talking, Thomas, who is Black, and is the legislation that now models Memphis for near and dear to my heart. I know personally um, what it's like to be profiled and stereotyped, to be pulled over. He said, hopefully, we can put the next generation of young people in a position where their first interaction and their introduction to law enforcement is not necessarily one that starts with a traffic stop. So we'll see what they come up with for Memphis, you know, or any other city that's having similar problems. So Philadelphia version of the legislation has not been without controversy. The police union sued to try to overturn it, and Republicans in Harrisburg has flooded the legislation that forces cities to choose between safer bike lanes and driving equality laws. Last summer, the Pennsylvania Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission signaled that the Philadelphia Police Department could lose its accreditation over the law and a companion executive order, but the group backed away from that, and the department retained its status as accredited. Yeah, because you know what it is. They like pulling our people over and giving you a hard time over a bunch of nothing. So you're taking that away from them, and they got a problem with that. So they said in Pittsburgh, which passed a similar ordinance back in 2021, police last month said they would resume making low level traffic stops in defiance of the city law. Well, lock those cops up that's breaking the law. Lock them up. You lock everybody else up. So, y'all, let me know what you think about Memphis saying they want to adopt the same similar law to cut down on racial profiling. That's really what they're saying. So, please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.